Hello and welcome to Murder Analysed. I'm Christina Moore. Now today we're going to be looking at the disappearance of Leah Croucher. Okay, now she disappeared on the 15th of February 2019 from Milton Keynes. Okay, and until today, I think the 21st of November 2020, there has still been no real information on what happened to this girl. Okay, so we're going to go through, I'm going to show you timelines, try and jog your memory onto if you saw anything. There's some other little situations and dates that are relevant to this case, so also appeal for information for that, to try and bring this case to some conclusion, okay? Because as of now, there is nothing, okay? So this is really important that people think back now. We're in this time now of a lockdown where people have got more time on their hands. They can think back to 2019, where they was, what they could have seen. You know, this is really important, and so I think this case is a sad case for the parents, and the parents are Claire and John Croucher, and they really have tried everything to keep this case in the public arena and to gain information. Okay, so this is what this case is about today, and it's a really important case. Okay, so if you do nothing else, share this out, get this out there, see if we can find some evidence, because really, you know, it's about the public now. It's about what you remember now, because the police have tried everything, and so this is all about you, what you may remember. Okay, so Leah was 19 years old, quite young looking, you know. I think, you know, and it's relevant that she is quite young looking. She was walking to work from her home at 8:15 in the morning. So let's take you back to the 15th of February 2019. This morning, Leah was walking from her home in Quantock Crescent, Emerson Valley, Milton Keynes, to her workplace. It's DFC in Knowlhilll, and she was picked up on CCTV, okay, in Buzzacott Lane on Furzton at 8:16 a.m. Okay, walking to work. Now this was a Friday morning, so this is quite a busy area. Okay, she was wearing a black jacket, black tight jeans. She also wore, though, a hoodie, which was from her dad's karate sort of or martial arts club. So it's quite a distinctive hoodie, with a black backpack on her back. She was wearing no makeup, and I'll show you, when you see the CCTV, it will jog your memory. Okay, she did have a mobile phone and stuff, and it seems like she was walking along this Furzton Buzzacott Lane with no real worries. She was just going to work. So really, the disappearance of Leah is in like a 1 mile radius. Okay, it's a very small area and a very small timeline where this girl went missing. Okay, so have a look at the CCTV and have a look at the maps that I've put on to show where she walked in the surrounding areas. Okay, because this is important, and especially important for people around on that morning. Okay, also that morning on the news, to jog your memory, was, I don't know if you remember, the girl that went off to join ISIS, and that was all on the telly at that time. That was all on the news at that time. So and I'm going to put a link to that up there as well, a news clipping from that up there, so you can, that may jog your memory as well as to, did you see anything on that day. So it was a Friday, it was the last day of the school term, okay, the 15th of February. It was the day after Valentine's Day, all right, so, you know, quite relevant to jog your memory. Okay, so she then walked along and she never made it to work. All right, so this footage actually shows her walking and it was, you know, casually walking along. So at exactly 8:34, Leah's phone suddenly left the network. So she left her home at what, 8:16, or she was seen in the last sighting of her was 8:16 in the morning, and at 8:34, very short time, her phone was then disconnected. That was it. She was gone. Okay, so, you know, we have to now think, you know, there's a few scenarios I think we can think about, but I think in these cases, theories and scenarios, yes, they're good, but it's more about what you remember, because I think the police have gone through every theory going. One, did she take her own life? That's not the case, because they would have found her body by now, you know, so that wasn't relevant to her. Then we have that she could have run off. Now, she could have run off, and she still could have run off, okay? But again, when you look at this evidence, what they've got, you look at this girl's life, and you look at, and we will go through what's gone on leading up to this. Yes, she could have, right? But I don't think so, okay? I think there's some foul play here, okay? So I think this is why I'm really doing this appeal, to get you to think about what you was doing on that day, and did you see anything. So that's the two scenarios that, you know, we can discard really. One is that she's took her own life, walked off and took her own life. Two, that she could have run away. I would say no to that with what we know so far, but you never know, because she never took anything personally with her that morning. She literally left her home to go to work, okay? And that's sort of why, you know, there was something, no bank account's been touched, nothing's been touched, no social media, there's nothing, okay? There's nothing. Now, I'm not the only one that's done this case. I think over 10 million different avenues of social media and hits on social media have actually produced nothing, okay, up till now. So I think the tactics now have to be changed a little bit, and we have to think, as it's now coming up to the 2-year anniversary of Leah's disappearance, what else can we do as public to try and gain some more evidence for the police to use to actually get some leads on this girl, because at the moment there's nothing. Okay, so she's walking along, and then she's disappeared by 8:34. That's it, no more. There's nothing of this girl. All right, her phone is gone, she has gone, there's nothing. So let's just go through this timeline, and I'm going to put this timeline up, okay, on a slide so that you can take some time to look through it. So I'm going to read this at 8:13 a.m. The CCTV footage shows her walking along Buzzacott Lane, right, in Furzton. That was the last confirmed sighting of Leah, okay? At 8:34, Leah's phone was switched off, okay? Very short time. Leah fails to arrive home from work, right, at 9, fails to arrive at work, so that's at 9 a.m. she usually starts work. She's not usually late, she's usually there. There's no reason why this girl shouldn't go to work. She was there. So at 9:30 a.m. and between 9:30 a.m. and 11:15 a.m, 3 different witnesses reported seeing a girl matching Leah's description walking by Furzton Lane. Now, you know, I always say about eyewitnesses, and the thing is that you had now the last day of term, right, school term. You had lots of kids around. Now, Leah looked quite young. She had no makeup on. She could have been taken for a schoolgirl, really. And so this has never been confirmed, all right? But if it was her, why was her phone switched off? And why then was she on the phone to someone crying? So I'm not really sure whether this sighting is relevant here, okay? But it could be. So if anyone else saw this, then contact the police, because just do you think because the police have been told something that they know, if they don't, you may have seen something differently, and it's good if you would report that to the police, and I'll give you all the numbers for that later. So I'm not really convinced that sighting between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. was Leah, but I don't want to discount it, okay? So in this local area, sadly, there wasn't much CCTV either. So really what you've got is what we've got. And I think the police made appeals for dash cams and other CCT in the area, you know, private CCT, and there's nothing, right? So I think the disappearance was definitely at 8:34 a.m. in the morning when that phone was switched off, right? That was the main point. I want to go back now to Saturday, the 3rd of February 2019, all right? Because this is relevant information. This is information that the police really need some help with, really, because this was 12 days before her disappearance, okay? Now, she had asked her dad to drop her off to a hotel, okay? And he dropped it, I think it's a Jury's Inn, okay, in central Milton Keynes. So it's a nice hotel. And she told her dad and her mum and her family that she was going to meet her friends there and have a girls' night, stay in this hotel. So they thought, great, you know, they dropped her off. So the dad dropped her off. And it wasn't until a little while after her disappearance that they found out this was a lie, okay? She actually had gone to the hotel down the road, a cheaper hotel down the road. And that hotel was a Travelodge, just a little while down the road. So in Milton Keynes, okay? Very close to this Jury Inn. So what I'm looking for you to think about, was you in the area of the 3rd of February 2019? Did you stay at this Travel Inn? Did you see Leah and the person she had met there? The person she had lied to her family about to meet there? Okay? Was you in the local pubs or restaurants? Did you see them? Think about that day, just before Valentine's Day. So it looks to me like this was Leah's and this person, maybe Valentine's Day on the Saturday, on the 3rd. So the police can't find anything on this meeting with someone, because it was clear now that her friends didn't know about this and they wasn't there. And the CCTV footage had been wiped out, because by the time they knew about this, and I'm going to call it a lie, the footage had been wiped, okay? So, but the person that they've appealed for to come forward, who was with Leah on that night, has never come forward. Now, there could be reasons for that, okay? There could be a reason that someone doesn't come forward because, one, they could be married, okay? Two, you know, they just don't think it's relevant and want to keep out of it, and a lot of that happens quite a lot. But it's really important for this person to come forward and give the evidence, right, to eliminate them from this inquiry so the police can now move on, okay? And if they aren't coming forward, and they haven't come forward up until now, okay, so maybe it's down to the public now to really think back and think, was you in that area? Did you see anything? Anything that you think can help, okay, the police with these inquiries, because this is really important, okay? So now let's move on to the 14th of February, okay? So Leah's now, this is Valentine's night. Leah's now gone to work, and she's come home from work, and she's run upstairs, she's got changed from work, and she's put a pair of tracky pants on and said, I'm popping to her friends, to her mum and dad, right? Another lie, okay? Another lie. So now it's Valentine's Day. This is now about 6:15. She's left the home, stating she's going to friends, which has been now proven that that wasn't true. So who did she meet? Because she came back at 7:15, okay? Now, on that night, at 5:15 in the evening, she switched off her tracking of her phone. So where, you know, you got on your mobile phones, like on our Samsungs, I've got Samsungs, and you can switch off your locations, okay? I'd never recommend that, by the way, but she did, or someone else did, at 5:15 p.m. on the 14th of February, switch off her phone location, okay? And we know now that she had met someone at between 6:15 and 7:15. Again, the person she's met has never come forward. There is no evidence, again, because the CCTV is not great in that area. And she was back home though at 7:15, went to her room and spent the rest of the night in bed. Okay, so they know she was seeing someone. Okay, they know it. She's 19. Of course she's going to see someone. But whether this person was married or some other reason why she wasn't telling her family, this was kept very secret. And therefore, of course the police have checked the phones and everything on her phone that she actually had. There was no evidence of any communication between anybody. Okay, so that then you can summarize that she then had a second phone, and that second phone was not in her name, so someone has given her a second phone. Okay, and now they are communicating through a different phone, so that means it can't be traced. Now the worry is when the day before you've disappeared, is that you or somebody else have turned off this tracker on your phone so people can find you. Okay, that was turned off, and that is a worry. And then the next morning when you get up and you go to work, you disappear. Okay, now whether you voluntarily disappeared or whether you've been taken, now this is all relevant. So this case, okay, is about the Thursday night, the 14th of February 2019, between the time of 6:15 and 7:15. Did you see Leah Croucher with anybody? Do you know who she was meeting on that night? Because the police do think that the friends and associates of Leah do know more than what they're saying. Okay, again, a lot of people don't want to say things about their friends and stuff. They don't think they know anything really about the disappearance, but they do think they're holding back some information on her lifestyle. Okay, well, this girl has now been disappeared, missing for nearly 2 years. So I would encourage any of her friends, to man up, really, put aside your feelings and tell the police what they need to know. Okay, so then they can eliminate and move on with evidence that then would be coming in, which is relevant to this case. Okay, because you have a family here now that are traumatized by this. They are devastated. They have nothing. Okay, and it is about time that people that know something about Leah's life say it, because the consequences for not is this girl will never be found. So it's about time that people that do know something, you may not know about the disappearance, but you know about her life, who she was seeing, right? Who she was seeing, because even the mother Claire has said, Leah told her that she was seeing a man, and we're calling him Mr. X because you can't say his name. That has actually been eliminated from this investigation because of, he's got an alibi and things like that. But because the police have got nothing else to go on, okay? So they need assistance here. Someone needs to speak out, really speak out about what they know. Okay, so then let's move on now to the day of the disappearance. We've gone through, and I'm going to put the timeline up, I'm going to put the maps up, I'm going to put the areas up of where she went missing, okay? Because it's really important that people think back to that. So this is now a young girl, this is 15th of February 2019, walking to work, and within a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes of leaving her home, and disappeared without a trace. Now, theories are one thing, and I always say that with theories it's difficult because I don't believe you can solve a case on theories. You can solve a case on facts, okay? But with this case there isn't many facts, so we can eliminate maybe that she has took her own life, okay? That's been eliminated. And I actually do think you can eliminate that she's actually run off and spending her life somewhere in the sun with something else. The girl took nothing, it wasn't planned, okay? And the person that she was seeing was meant to be engaged, and this is what the mother Clara said. An older man, he was engaged, and it was an arranged marriage or something. This is what she knows. Now, all that Leah talked about was this Mr. X this, Mr. X that, Mr. X this. So she's told someone, okay, a lot about her life and what's going on. But then the mother and father thought that this then relationship was over, because her mother warned her, you'll never be able to have this man because he is, has to marry somebody else. Okay, so there's a lot going on in this case. But then I don't think you can rule out a third party, okay, that could have took this girl. I think that is, and I think the police think that as well. But I also don't think you can rule out a sole predator, okay? Because, as human beings, we are quite, we do things the same. So Leah walked to work the same way, the same time, every day. Okay, and she'd worked at this job for about 2 years. Okay, so you have main roads and you have secluded areas in this with houses and different things in there, right? And we do have predators, so this case may not have nothing to do with anyone that she knows. This could be someone she didn't know, and she was in a place at the wrong time and the wrong place. Okay, so again, you've got to think, if this person abducted Leah, okay, and where these roads are, I mean, you've got the N1, you've got some major roads now that can lead out of Milton Keynes very, very quickly. The opportunity to snatch someone off the street, yes, it's rare that happens, but it happens. It happens, and there are a lot of people that go missing that are never found because of this reason, and that could be one why there is such lack of evidence in this case, because it may not be anything to do with what was going on in her life. It may be just that she was taken by someone that she didn't know. So again, now, if that is the case, the public now play a big part in this, because on that 15th of February, between them times, when you had kids going to school, when you had parents taking their kids to school, we're on peak traffic here. When did you see anything? Did you see anyone getting into a car that looks like Leah? So it's about now, I think, with us as people that may have information and things and the thing is with information is that you may not think it's relevant, okay, but it is. The police just need one little bit of evidence to break this case, and believe it, it's not because there's lack of trying, okay? They've tried everything, and I think with social media like what we do, and my friends and colleagues on different true crime sites that have done this case and tried to get awareness out about this disappearance, because these parents need closure. Either way, they need closure. They need to move on. And I often talk about the secondary victims, okay? Now, unfortunately, 9 months after Leah went missing, her brother Hayden committed suicide, okay? Because of the trauma, because of the stress, because of the heartbreak of losing his sister, okay? Now, there's lots of issues even around his death because, this boy had suffered, from this disappearance, and his mental health had got worse and worse and worse. And he had crying out for help. He was under a counsellor. He was then taken to hospital to have him admitted because he was saying that he just had a fixation on, and he wanted to kill himself, okay? Because he couldn't cope with the sister going missing. And so he died, I think, on the 15th of November, okay? He took his own life, right? So this case, and with many cases like this, okay, have consequences that far reach what you can think. So if you have any information on this case, you need to say, okay? And if you are the man that was seeing Leah, right, and you have nothing to hide, come forward. eliminate yourself from this inquiry. Okay, and if you are a public member of the public that had seen something, even though you don't think it's worth saying, say it. Say it anyway, because without people coming forward, okay, this case will never be solved. It will never be solved. So, okay, I'm going to put a lot of stuff on here for you to think about, for you to go through, like the maps where she was, and the CCTV footage, and all different sort of things. Okay, the timeline I'm going to put on here to give you some assistance in jogging your memory. Okay, so as I say about this, share this out, get this out there, because someone somewhere knows something, and it's about time that the person that knows something, whether it's about Leah's background, her personal life at that time, okay, because now you've got nothing to lose. You can say it on Crime Stoppers, you can say it, you can ring Crime Stoppers, you haven't got to leave your name, you can do it anonymously, you know, you can ring the police, and I'm going to give you all these numbers and all this stuff on this video to help you do the right thing. Okay, so this has been the case, and the ongoing case, the unsolved case of Leah Croucher. And so I hope that you take the time to look at this, think back, and share this case out. So thanks for watching, and until the next time, bye bye.